All right, I'm gonna let everyone in.
Okay.
Admit all. Hello, 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 everybody. We were just waiting for a few more people to come in. If you can hear me and see me clearly and see the screen, please type one. Thank you, thank you. Awesome, awesome. All right, so welcome to the Style Spectrum webinar. I am very excited to actually share this with you because this has been on top of my list for a long time. And yeah, the more people ask me questions about this, what we're talking about today, the more I'm like, I need to get this out. Otherwise, people are just gonna stay confused. Okay. Are you confused? Is that why you're here? If you're confused, give me number two, please. Type number two. If you're confused with like all these like exotic styles that are happening on, in competitions or on the market, as I like to call it. Yes, it's very confusing, very confusing. Okay, so the recording of this, I am actually because I'm just like ADHD, I woke up, I was dreaming. I'm like, okay, maybe I should just record the whole thing and just put on YouTube. So you are gonna get access to this afterwards as well. So if you need a recap or anything, you can still do that. Okay. So instead of like making it on a different page and blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna put on YouTube and let me know if this is something that you would like to see more often in the future. Then we can do more of this because I do like to interact with live audience because it's not very often that I can like answer everyone's questions all in once. So this is a good way that I can like connect with all of you. Especially we have more than 100 people signed up, so I'm very excited about that. But those people, only 20 of you showed up. I don't know where the fuck I just I'll edit that out. I don't know where the other 80 peoples are. So hope I wish them the best. But anyway, today you're here, then you're gonna get all the knowledge that I have for you. So without further ado, let's get right in. Okay? My name is Adam. I am a professional pole dancer, as you know, and I feel like I have a lot of new people who have joined me today. I don't think everybody here know me well or like know me for a long time. But anyway, we will get into that a little bit later. So without further ado, we're gonna get right in. So like I said, style spectrum, focusing on the XO style. Um, which is something that I'm very passionate about because, I have this like feeling when I was doing pole. When I started like my exalt journey, it was a journey that I didn't know I started. Okay, because I started pole dancing in Australia. In Australia, we are the OG, not we are, but the OG pole dancer that were in Australia, we have Felix Kang, we have Jamila Devel. If you know these names, you're gonna know these people. Okay, Felix Kang created Spatchcock, and then Jamila Devel created Jay. So these people were the people that I look up to, and then the culture that I actually grew up in Australia. So the style that we had back there was very like showgirl-y. It's all about performance, that you have to be all-rounded. You need to be able to do pole sport. You need to be able to do showgirl, everything. Okay. So this EXO style that we have today are a lot newer from that generation. So this is why a lot of confusion has, born. So anyway, we're gonna get into it. Someone says Canada. I know. Thank you for joining me, Harmony. I literally just woke up not long ago, if you can see my bed hair. Ugh. Okay, I got my tea here, so remember, always have your bubble tea because I don't drink coffee. All right, reason why you are here. Lots of people, I assume everybody is wanting to compete or have competed before, right? If you have competed before, let me know. Type one, then I know like most, I will know. Yeah, if you're just like a pole dancer who are hobbyists who want to like get into pole or like get better in like exo style, this will be very helpful for you as well, so you know what you're doing. Yeah, because if you're just like a student or hobbyist, you go to pole studio, you just like, oh, this choreo class, oh, this choreo class, I'll do all of them, but you don't know exactly what you're doing, so this will be very helpful for you as well. However, I have so many competitors coming up to me or coming up to other judges asking like, why didn't I score better? I feel like I have delivered what it was, asked for. However, from our eyes, from our knowledge, from our, you know, from sitting at the table, what we see might be a little bit different to what everybody feels like they're doing, because that's the case. Yeah, that's all the confusion, and especially competition these days don't necessarily give you a full like idea of like what they are looking for, because at the end of the day, they give you the criteria that you need to read. Uh, you need to read the criteria, okay? But it's up to the judges, our interpretation to actually judge. However, most of the judges, they're gonna have on the competitions are probably going to be, not probably, mostly are someone who are, specialty in this styles, okay? And usually they will have like, we definitely would like judges to have a different background, because like even in like in normal competitions, you have judges with different background. I have judges from like they're actor, they are in performance art, they're burlesque, they are like ballet, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. Like, but they all have knowledge in pole as well, so they can deliver their their feedback based on their background and also their knowledge in pole dance, and that's what makes it more fair, I will assume. Because I hear people say like, that judge is hostile. Why is it judging flow? I will tell you why. Okay. So, yeah, your tricks are well, but your feedback are inconsistent. The problem is not your skill, is the clarity, the structures. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, my name is Adam, 3,000 world champion. I like to say that, but that's in the past because recently I've been focusing more on coaching students and stuff like, because like I'm getting old. I'm 30. But I started pole dance at 18 when I just turned 18, so it's been a long time for me. But I do have background in street dance. I've been dancing for more than 20 years, and yeah, I've judged competition all over the world, and especially I started from Australia. That gives me a lot of knowledge about pole dance to get me where I am today. And yeah, it's very exciting to be able to share that with a new generation of pole people, because if you're starting pole after COVID, it's completely different. Yeah, it's a very different generations, especially the style I'm talking about today are something that have been popularized after 2015. So it's a long time, okay? It's about 10 years time we have all this sub EXO style. So, the rise of popularity in exotic or exo style. We like to use the word exo these days because people, we do see the problem of using exotic. So we usually just, call it exo. So from here, I would just call it exo, but just to let you know, we don't use exotic anymore, just exo, but it's up to you. Personally, as a color person, it does affect me if I really think about it. So I do want to like pass down the knowledge for people. Okay, so the most popular, you know, pole competition these days are exo based. Like most of the comps I see these days, or most of the competition that I get invited to judge or perform at, are usually exo based rather than pole sport anymore, which is which is good, which is fun, because this is where the market is now. Okay, everybody wants to be sexy, everyone wants to like be cool and dance in heels, and why not? Okay, so yeah, the popular style that we see these days literally promote us, help us, to gain confidence, because wearing heels do give you that power of like, I feel I'm good, in heels. So especially like the people who I am teaching these days might not start pole dancing in pole fitness or pole sport styles. Mostly they just jump right into heels, which is a problem. Let me tell you that, a problem that we have these days. That's something I have to address in the future because the fundamental in exalt or in any heels dance styles in pole dance, it's literally all coming from pole sport. So if you have done pole sport, exalt pole will become easier for you because it's all coming from there. Okay, so yes, uh, here are the three types of category or styles that we'll be focused on: the sub styles, old school, flow, and hardstyle. I don't know what that L is capital. I did that last night in the midnight, so and I had a fever last night. Anyway, so let's dive right in. The root. You gotta remember the root. If you are people who are new to to pole scenes and they're like, yeah, I don't feel like I want to get down to the roots. I feel like I just want to do my own thing. Let me tell you, I was one of those people. Okay, I just admit that. I was one of those people. I was one of those people like, no, I don't do exo style. I do pole sports. I was one of those because that was literally the the stigma that I have to deal with as 18 years old. I just like I don't want to deal with that. When I tell people I'm a pole dancer, they were like, oh, and I find shame in that back then, but not anymore because nowadays, if you go on the street and be like, have you done pole dance before? People are like, "Ah, yes, I have done pole dance. My grandma done pole dance. It's literally, have you seen that meme? That meme of pole dancer posting a photo of them like when they're young. It's like a pole dancer, and when they're old, they're old. Yeah, have you seen that? Like I'm gonna tell my grandkids that when I was a pole dancer, that's literally gonna happen because I'm already seeing so many people like in the community that are like doing pole dance and everyone has done it. So yeah, this is the route that we have to celebrate. Otherwise, like you're gonna be, it's gonna be hard for you to not know the route and then like trying to create something new. Okay? This is something that I do talk about in something else I'm gonna show you later. Okay, anyway. So the non-negotiable things are definitely heels. Usually heels these days, like I started when people were still wearing 6 inches. Yeah, 7 inch was the norm back then. 7 inch was the normal, and I really did not like the 7 inch. So my first pair of shoes, I thought I ordered 6 inch, and it turns out I cannot read, and they turned out to be 8 inches. So I started 8 inches right away because 7 inches proportional wise, I'm also a fashion designer. Like proportional wise, it's just not it. So didn't really like the 7 inch, 8 inch always. Okay, lots of people now are wearing 9 inches, 10 inches. I don't know what they're thinking because they're just so heavy, especially like if you have men feet like me, like they are so heavy. Okay, so the heels, we usually focus on sensuality, fluidity, and musicality. It's all about performance, okay? But performance are there are different types of performers. Internal performers, external, like you perform for the audience or perform for yourself, they're different, okay? So it can be anything. The other style just branches. So the style I'm talking about, the hard style, the flow, these styles are branches coming up from old school or like the stripper styles, okay? So everything coming from that, the fundamental is basically saying the pirouettes, walking around the pole, those things about body roll, these are all coming from the same thing. And I really do want to like pe let people understand the idea of this because I came from street dance background, like hip hop. We have locking, popping, jazz, funk, girls hip hop. When I first started street dance, there was very clear they are all like in their own group. The hip hop is hip hop group. The breaking it's in breaking group. The locking, the popping. I started popping. I was doing this at 12. Can you imagine that? Now I'm like this. Crazy. But back then, people like to label so hard. I'm like, I was 12. I didn't understand anything. I was just like, I just want to dance. Why are you guys like fighting over all these things? Because like the fundamental of like street dance is either like hip hop or like other things. We have reggae, all these kind of things. And then back then, we were like even fighting with the classical dance people. Remember Step Up? Yeah, that's basically what was happening in pole dance as well. Like the pole people were like, "Oh, you guys are like doing heels," and the heels people are like, "Oh my God, you're on the ground with no shoes." That was literally that every dance style, every industry go through. So I feel like that's why we need to understand the roots because nowadays the dance industry, we have like commercial dance, basically like classical people doing street dance. Yeah. So everything has merged together, developed into their own thing. So I feel like if you understand the roots, you will be able to develop into something different. And I think that's why we celebrate this because the diversity that we love so much in dance, and we apply that in pole dance as well. So yes, we'll go through that individually. So I want you to think about the pole style as a spectrum, okay? Like neurodivergent, okay? I have ADHD, so I'm on this side of the extreme from the other side, okay? But I can also be a little bit of that, yeah? No one is ever the just one, okay? I wouldn't even define myself as like true hardstyle, yeah? Because sometimes I do want to flow. Sometimes I do want to feel my sensuality. Sometimes I want to like move with, like lead with my hip. I want to feel that, okay? But because my style is so distinct now, like, like it took me a long time to develop the style that I have today. And you would think a dancer would be able to pick up pole really quickly. Yes, with the coordination, strength, not so much because we don't lift ourselves that much unless you're a breakdancer. So it really took me a long time to develop the style that I have today with the musicality that I have actually come from street dance. How I would listen to music when I'm doing jazz funk, when I'm doing commercial. And I have to apply that with pole dance, yeah? Because now I have a new skill called pole dancing. So now how do I do this pirouette with the musicality of street dance? Yeah, that took me a long time to actually develop to get to here today. And when you are developing your style, it's not going to be very clear. Yeah. I feel like it's something that you will have to look back on once you do it for some time. So if you're still new in your EXO journey, like you still don't exactly understand what style that you're on or what style that you want to do, it's totally fine. Like you are going to change. Just remember, the styles is a spectrum. Your growth is also on a timeline that's like going to be different. So don't box yourself. Yeah. If you're like still new in street dance. Yeah, if you're like 5 years old in pole dance, yeah, so street dance. Yeah, you're 5 years old in pole dance, you're still a baby. Okay, I feel like these days because you might see pole dance on the internet because it's so commercialized, it's just so popular on the internet. So people are just like, oh, I see pole dance, I want to go do it. Yeah, but the thing is that you are going to learn something that's all only being popularized in the last 5 years. You might not know something from before. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be very helpful if you can dive right in, go on YouTube, search for pole dance, look at the OG, because it's actually crazy. I feel like I am talking from, I'm like really old in this because I've been doing it for quite some time, but I'm not that old, okay? 30 is not old. So yes, but when I started, the Instagram only just started. We have like 15 seconds like to post on Instagram, okay? And then back then we have to like watch poll videos on YouTube. I want to know if anyone was doing that. If you were doing the YouTube like pole dance learning, please let me know. Type one, please. I don't feel old. But anyway, we do have a lot of those people. And the thing is, if you are in that generation, you are going to like see the difference between the EXO we do these days and back then because it's completely different. It's so different now. Now you don't even need to climb. Okay, I feel like Poland and these tech are very lucky. They don't need to climb. They have everything presented to them, like handed it into their hands, like, hey, this is what you do. Hey, this is what you do. But back then we have to like figure out everything out. Especially internet wasn't that popular. So we were like creating all these moves that, that you see these days on the market. So I feel like, you know, it's just a very different experience. And I feel like I'm very lucky to be able to share that with you. So anyway, so we want to talk about, can you hear my doorbell ringing? Oh my God, so embarrassed. Anyway, so let's think about old school being the middle because old school coming from, you know, that's the OG. Yeah? Old school focus on sensuality. Doesn't really matter because these things do move around. So, remember that, okay? And flow, and then we have hardstyle on the other side, okay? I like to put that in the middle because I started from like showgirl style, hip waving, body rolling for old school, and then I moved towards hardstyle instead of the flow. But I did learn flow as well, so that way I have all the technique, all the heels, and special heels technique. Because today we're talking about XO. Okay, we are not talking about doing pole move in heels. We're talking about actual dance. Does that make sense? Because back then, pole dance was not done in heels. Yeah, we would do a simple body roll, little squat, little booty pop, but those were not done in heels. But now, those things are actually becoming the fundamental of pole like EXO. Yeah. So anyway, the competitive EXO is judged based on the balance of these three elements. If you look at your criteria, if you have friends competing in a different category. If you look at your criteria or the feedback, you're going to see different columns because they are judged differently. Okay. So yeah, this is why that I feel like a lot of people get confused because I actually found a lot of people do not read their criteria. For a lot of professional as well. I've been talking to a lot of professional pole dancers who are still competing, but not like, not really not competing. They're still competing. And they're just like, oh, I just do it. I just do it. I'm like, okay, girl, that's fine. If you already know what you're doing, if you have a like a very distinct style to you, then you can just do whatever you want, I guess. Like if you don't care about the winning. And people really, really need to understand this. If you are here, you probably because you want to go on the competitions. Okay. I don't want to repeat this again because you're here for competitions. There is criteria. If you want to be like, I'm an artist, I don't want to follow criteria, that's fine too. But don't expect the judge just give you the award because we do have to follow the criteria. Okay. But I'm going to tell you how to do that, celebrate your art, and also fit criteria in a second. Okay. So anyway, let's get in from old school. I have to use my own photo because, copyright. But this is the most. I was doing a Pole Icon opening show and I feel very old school because I was doing AC/DC song. I didn't really know about. I was doing I was doing Highway to Hell. So anyway, that was the routine I was doing. So Exalt Old School, we focus on the presence, the connections, the storytelling. Storytelling not necessary, but that's why I put it in the last one, but present, the stage present. When you watch an old school pole dancer, you literally, sometimes I feel very shy looking at old school pole dancer because, I'm gay and also like yeah, I don't know. I feel like every time when I watch an old school pole dancer, I just feel very shy, but also very like I just know I just want to like keep staring at them. It's actually like amazing, and I feel like this is one of the style that I need to learn to do because it's hard. It's hard. And so anyway, shout out to all the old school pole dancer. Anyway, we focus on present connection, and it's all about raw emotion. Was that 开会？对，你看。Oh my God. People are fixing my ceiling and I feel so embarrassed right now. I'm editing that out. Okay. So the raw, powerful sensuality and master control of the fundamental. You don't see old school pole dancers doing a lot of tricks. And because that's exactly what it is. In the club, back then, they don't really do that much tricks. Like the biggest trick back in the club, it's probably like a J split or a butterfly. Okay? That's the hardest trick that would do back then. So don't think about you have to do super hard tricks and to be ticked off for old school. If you're in this category, you need to actually master the authenticity. Okay? Old school dancer don't come out here look for validation. Okay? They already validate themselves. That's why they can be here so natural and just like embrace themselves and show you who they are. Because when I watch like really good I don't like to call them competitors at this point because they just master their old schoolness or like their sensuality, authenticity so well that I don't see them as a competitor anymore. They are literally just a dancer there doing their thing that I admire of. So I feel like this is the one of the hardest one to tap into. But if you are really good at tapping into emotion and being raw, and share with the world, I feel like you will be perfect with this one. Okay. Next, exalt flow. Okay, exalt flow. coming from Russian exotic back in like 2014, 15, 16. Back then, Olga Koda, Eva Bembo, Dara Che, and who else? Paul Flo back then was very like big being Russian exotic. Yeah, remember that time that every podcast start calling themselves Russian exotic, and they just dance to the same music. There's always this like Arabic background music. I don't know why it was just very like that back in 2015. And now thinking about that makes me feel old because it felt like a short time ago, but it was actually a long time ago. But anyway, that's where I started. Okay. I started tapping into, showgirl style. I tap into that a little bit because if you go, you have to go and watch Miss Pole Dance Australia. Everybody, if you're a baby, you need to go watch Miss Pole Dance Australia opening show. If you have time, watch the whole thing because it will change your life as a pole dancer. I remember people literally coming to Australia for working holiday just to do pole dance for a long time, and then they get to watch like Miss Pole Dance Australia. So you need to go and check that out if you're from a different country that haven't seen Miss Pole Dance Australia before. But anyway, Exalt Flow these days we focus on seamless transition. People don't understand what uh seamless means. Yeah, the I'm new people. The continue non-stop motion. People don't understand what that means. Okay. Uh, Here I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier for you to understand. When you're doing a movement, you do it non-stop. So I'll do a pirouette and I'll go followed by a head roll and I roll down to a squat all on one direction. But that doesn't limit yourself to be one-dimensional. Okay? It's how you connect move to the other move and make it smooth without looking like you are going from this to this. Yeah? So think about you are going to connect A and B with a smooth transition. It can be a walk, it can be a body roll, it can be a head roll, it can be an arm leading, something like that. Yeah, you gotta go figure it out because everybody moves differently with their body. So don't just feel like you go watch a video and you have to be like that. No, everybody moves differently. Okay. So if you use the musical term legato, meaning like you carry on that movement, musicality wise the same, you kind of would just flow with it. I like to think flow as more conceptual, more artsy, like something that doesn't really need to have a story, can just be a concept of one of my friends, Rachel Coco, the pole dancer, did jellyfish. Yeah? Like it's like in the acting class, like how do you make jellyfish pole dance? Yeah? And that's flow for me, something a bit more artistic. It could just be a concept. I want to be clouds today. I want to be the wave. I want to be octopus today. How about that? Okay? Something like that. The goal is be continuous. Yeah, continuous movement. Tricks are secondary. Sometimes I see like you people flow. They do a big leg wave and then they suddenly do a kip. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, cool. Thank you for showing me that you can do a kip, but like, does it match with the music? Does it go with it? If you're doing like a really controlled handstand into a kip, I might give that to you. But if you're just like doing the flow sequence and then you suddenly kip, I'm like, why? Yeah. Not only I do, a lot of time when you're judging, I don't like the competition putting judges in front of the stage because it's very close to the competitor, and that is going to actually freak them out. And we can't make a lot of facial expression. I like to wear sunglasses always, not because of the just the light. The light actually hurt my eyes. I couldn't see you. But also, uh, yeah, I don't want to like I have resting bitch face. A lot of people think Adam was like judging me really like, harshly because my face, honey, I paid money to make my face look like this. Yeah. So it's not I do like you. Okay. I'm enjoying your show, but just like I can't control my face. Okay. Especially a lot of judges like, Adam, your face was really like, judgy. I'm like, really? I can't feel it. I really cannot. I just top up my Botox. I can't feel it. But anyway, I always focus on giving my competitor good feedback, especially in 1 minute is really hard. So yeah. Um, anyway, We're gonna move on with this. So, da da da. Remember that? Move on. Hostile, exo hostile. This one, people always come up to me and say, but I did so many tricks. And I'm like, that's the point. No, I said, that's why you didn't win because you focus on doing tricks. Like way too much, way too many tricks. You're like doing pole sport tricks in heels. Okay. How do you make a pole sport tricks work in heels? It's the execution. Okay. If you watch my routine, I will absolutely do a sequence of flow, like hostile flow. So it is flow, but I'm doing with the hostile musicality and execution. And then I will go on the pole and do a combo. Okay. But those combo are not necessarily, I can do it without heels for sure. But when I do it in heels, I'm actually adding a lot more detail because in heels, you have to be more, I feel like you have to focus more on the detail when you're doing in heels. So for example, if I'm going to do an invert, I might do a leg twirl and I might do a leg wave before I invert or something like that. Okay. I try to make that work with the line because now I have my heels. I'm elongated. How do I make that line look better? Yeah. Okay. So I'm not just doing fonji for the sake of it. Yes, I like doing fonji because I'm good at it, but also I can execute them in heels and make it look like they merge together. They're not just separate thing. Okay. So yeah, the tricks has to be choreographed into the chore. The chore is the key word for hardstyle. You need to dance. Okay. I don't care if you can't dance or not. If you have already been doing pole dance, done chore classes, you know what a chore looks like. Okay. So you're gonna execute that and choreograph them into a hostile routine. So I want to see dance. I want to see you hitting the beat, hitting the accent, all that thing in hostile. Okay. This is definitely hard in terms of like stamina, endurance, and actual strength. Yeah. Because most of my routine, if you see, I do a judge routine or like a guest show, my routine now it has been shortened so much. Now the shortest routine I done was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, like new face people be like, two, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that's not enough for me to do stuff. But go look at my routine. Go look at my routine. My routines are 2 minutes and a half, and I've done so much, but in a way that people can take in without being overwhelmed. Okay, that's another keyword. Don't get your judges or your audience overwhelmed with all the things you're doing. If you're not being able to catch a breath on the stage, the audience cannot either. Okay, you need to be able to breathe. So top up your cardio, go to a dance classes. I absolutely suggest everybody to go to do dance classes. If you want to take pole seriously, dance classes will help you not only in musicality, but also coordination and just movement. Yeah. I feel like pole dance, the movement are very like, we are at a stage is like, okay, we have seen it all. Yeah. It's body roll, it's pirouettes, but like, I feel like, yeah, we need something new. And how to make something new is bring a different things from a different industry, which is bring actual dance to pole dance. Okay. Anyway, focus on those things, and that will help you develop a better style. So being dynamic is one thing. Yeah. Staccato. Wait, I can't say the word. Anyway, the rhythm is a bit like shorter, detached from the notes instead of like just being like this. We go like boom, 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 boom. Okay. So most of the hardstyle song are going to be like a little bit more upbeat, more high energy. Okay. So yeah, don't pick a slow song and try to make it hard because it's gonna be very awkward. Yeah. I feel like doing hardstyle is so like you need to be able to command the stage the whole time because the moment you're doing like super fast combo, doing all da da da, and then you suddenly slow down, if you don't carry that energy up, it's going to flop very quickly. Okay, so choreography for hostile is very important. You need to plan every single thing, which I talk about that in something that I have created recently, which I'll show you later. Okay, this is almost the end of the webinar. Recap. Remember, old school, being raw, authentic, emotional connection, emotional connection. Bring the people into your world, please. Bring the people into your world if you're doing old school. Flow, mesmerizing, uninterrupted sequence. Flow, think about art, going to a museum. Yeah, you don't want to see movement that are like choppy. Yeah, you want to see them flowy. Okay, hardstyle, powerful. The speed. I feel like people feel experience speed very differently. I feel like my speed is not as fast, but people think I'm very fast. But anyway, I'm also delusional. Also dynamic. Dynamic keyword, fierce attitude. This attitude thing, I feel like people are faking attitude a lot these days when they do hardstyle. And you can see it because the moment they are not doing much, their face go like, they lost it. No, the moment you get on stage, I like to think about hardstyle as like the pop star energy, like slay energy from the beginning to the end. Yeah. So you can't fake that. You really have to train that stage presence to be a fierce performer for hardstyle. Okay. Remember, no one is just one thing. Your style is where you land between the extreme. Remember that spectrum. Yeah. And it can evolve with every pieces that you do. So don't feel like you have to fit in one category. You still will be able to maneuver on that scale in terms of like entering competitions because like I said, the fundamental are the same, but they are just executed differently. Okay. So back to that original, very original example, which is a pirouette. A pirouette and a body roll. Okay. You execute them in old school, you do it that way. You execute them in flow, you do it that way. You execute them in hardstyle, doing that way. So you're doing the same thing, but you're also keeping within that criteria. Okay. So I feel like if you're still unsure about your routine, if it's like, is it like fitting that one more? Is it fitting that one more? Check with someone. Check with someone that you know are professional or have been doing this for a long time. For example, me, or ask your instructor. Okay. Don't just like guess. I feel like people like to guess a lot these days, especially if you like to perform, you definitely will have the ego of thinking, I know the best. And I'm telling you, we all been there. And it takes a lot of courage and a lot of self-awareness to realize that ego is holding you back. So hence that's why I'm doing this, like to teach you something that actually we have been using for a long time and people are still trying to figure it out. So very lucky that you are here to learn this because, you know, you're gonna understand more. Hopefully you understand what I'm going about, I'm yapping about. When you see the next competition, go on and look at those things that I have mentioned. Are they ticking it off? And sometimes, very rare, that judges are going to pick someone who is definitely not ticking the boxes to win. Yeah, because I feel like most of the judges should actually follow through of the style they're judging. If you're judging old school, I would not let someone who is too flowy to win an old school. Does that make sense? Because I feel like it has to be fair. Yeah. A lot of people competed in the wrong category, but they executed so well. And then in the actual category that they compete in, so for example, a floor pole dancer, they don't know they're a floor pole dancer, but they go into old school. But in the old school competitor, they are not, you know, maybe like the best of that old school pole dancer are not as good. The technique wise are not as good as the floor pole dancer. And then sometimes they might give the awards to that floor pole dancer. And then when that floor pole dancer win, the old school pole dancer is gonna be like, but she's not old school at all. Why did she win? And I feel like that's where all the fight was born. Yeah. Because that category is for old school. But yes, no one is executing really well in the old school, but they are still more old school than the flow. So for me personally, I will celebrate the old school pole dancer, the competitor who actually tried to be old school, rather than the floor pole dancer who executed well. Does that make sense? I hope you understand that. But anyway, that's for me. And that's why we have so many judges, so we can argue, we can like state at our point why we think is better, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So yeah, if you don't win in one category, it's okay. Just move on to the next one. Don't just like hold on to that because that's not gonna help you growth. Look at the feedback and then take something from there, move on to the next. Okay, it's gonna take you at least like 10 competitions to get to where you like to be. And once you get to where you want to be, you might slowly change because that's what I do. Anyway, that's that. Okay, today I want to talk to you about come ready. If you're thinking about competitions, thinking about going to competition, or you have been competing for a long time, but you still don't quite get like what exactly the judges are looking for, I literally collected my knowledge, my brain, from 20 years of dance and 13 years of pole dance, competing, judging. So I'm like giving you everything I know in an online course. That's what I've been working really hard for, okay? You have 4 modules. I literally take you from how to create a entry video for a competition, pick the right category, because I feel like people don't know how to pick categories, and read criteria for that competition. Okay, I'm literally teaching you how to film, how to submit, and then how to plan concept. Concept and stories are different thing. People need to understand that. Okay, it's a whole thing. That's why I feel like I have the need to actually create a course for it. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna learn all of things, how to develop character, how to actually write story for your routine, and also how to edit music, how to pick the winning music. I feel like this is another thing. Like a lot of flow category music are so boring these days that I'm like, can we do something else? Can we not repeat the music? Anyway, I talked about music for a long time in this course, so please do not get upset with me because it's so important. Anyway, so yeah, you will also get a Come Ready guidebook, which is a very standardized competition criteria guidebook, teaching you how to read criteria. I have a lot of people already like purchased just that thing on its own, which has been really helpful for them to understand the execution technique, what those things actually means. But with the course, you're gonna get that anyway, and you also get a checklist to make sure you can check on your routine and see whether it's ready or not. I also give you so many worksheets that I use by myself personally for the last 13 years to check whether your routine is ready for the competitions. Because I feel like this is so important. Like lots of people just choreograph a routine and then they're like, okay, I'm ready for competitions. And then they fly. These days, I feel like people are rich now because back then we only do national competition, but these days people are always traveling because I think that's the best part of being pole dancer is you get to travel and do pole dance, isn't it? But think about like spending like $3,000 on a flight and spending like 8 weeks being coached, like paying the judges and paying for costume and paying for studio hire to create a literally $10,000 routine to be told your routine you don't fit in the right category. It's like I feel so bad when I'm judging international competition and I know this person flew all the way from America to, I don't know, Egypt, probably not Egypt, Greece. Okay, go to Greece, compete, and then instantly, the moment the music starts, the moment she walks out, the way I see them walk, I'm like, they're in the wrong category. That's how quick the judge can actually pick on if you're whether you're right in this category or you're gonna do well. Like it's literally the moment the music play, the lights on, we already know. And it's kind of like I just feel bad. Sometimes I really feel bad for these competitors because I'm like, if you really do have the guidance, you are going to feel a lot better. Okay. So anyway, I created this course only you guys, whoever are here, are going to get the special discount. I have my social media manager here, Corinne. Please drop the link. Drop the link. Yeah, only you guys can get it, and it finishes at 12 p.m. today. It's currently in Taiwan. I'm in Taiwan right now. It's currently 12, almost 1 p.m. Yeah. So you have how many hours? 12? 12 hours, less than 12 hours now to get a discount. Otherwise, there's just no discount. Anyway, get the course, starting. So icon method. Come ready is the course name. The icon method is the method I use to be where I am today. Okay. Intentionality, know your why. Okay. I literally go through that in the course, teach you how to set goals. People don't know how to set goals these days. They don't know why they're competing. They just, I just want to win. I want to win and I want to teach workshops. And then I'm like, okay, with what? You don't even know your style yet. You don't have a distinct style that you can sell yet. Okay. So you gotta know that. Creativity, find your story, find your music, find your magic. All those things, I break it down into super easy, understandable steps that you can follow to guide you through. And then ownership, play to your strength and claim your space. Yeah, that's another thing that, yeah, I feel like once you get the course, you gotta understand why I'm talking so much about it because you gotta know these things before you go out and try to promote yourself and sell yourself, okay? And new ones, layer emotion, polish, and performance quality. I love coaching people for performance. I have three or four people competed in the last 1 month. And yesterday I woke up with my student from Japan. Shout out to Mona. She won old school heart. So in Exotic Hell, Italy, not plot, they have old school but also hard because you can be old school and also hard. But anyway, she plays second. I'm so proud. So yeah, there's many styles are going to, come through in the next 10 years. I'll tell you that because now pole dance is so commercialized. If you understand these things, you are going to be able to sell your pole dance very easily. Okay. Especially now we are seeing pole dancers on music videos, seeing them on concert tours, these kind of things like I don't like the whole idea of that, like, singers and mainstream people using pole dance as a tool to promote themselves because they think it's cool. But also, it's our chances. Yeah, it's a chance for pole dancer to be everywhere. So, yes, you are taking something from us and we're gonna use it. Yes, I don't think there's a problem with that. If the opportunity is right in front of you, if it's presented to you, then take it. Okay. And before we take that, we need to know what we are doing. Okay. And I do talk about in the competition course as well, is that um, competing is a good way to understand what you're good at. Yeah, because you're being judged by a panel of like judges that have different background who have been doing this for a long time. Most likely it will be longer than you. So they sing a lot. And yeah, these people are gonna tell you what you're good at. And I also teach you how to read your feedback. Yeah, because people don't know how to read feedback. And they come and argue with the judges a lot. And I feel bad. I feel bad like for some judges the competitor are going to think the judges hate them because they gave them feedback that are not aligned with what the competitor's delusion is, you know. But that's why you gotta drop the ego and take in the feedback and understand why the judges gave you that feedback. And I feel like that's something it takes time to develop to learn how to take feedback. If I go compete, I'm gonna be judged, even though I'm here, right now, telling you that I know everything that I know. But I am going to be judged by other people who might have less experience than me, but I have to drop it because these people, if they are sitting at the judges' table, there must be a reason. Okay? You gotta be able to adopt and actually grow and develop, whether like no matter what stage you are at your pole journey, like I'm still learning, I'm still a student as well. I like to take classes. I like to develop styles because I feel like pole dance nowadays is less competitive but more artistic. People now have more free will to, express their art. But yeah, in competitions, it's gonna be a good way for you to understand what you're good at. Okay. Anyway, these are the students that I have. I am so proud of them. Anyway, also you can join. Corinne has also put in the link for you to join, which is the Star Station, a little community that I have created that I share some tips and like common mistakes, all these kind of things in there that you can get for free, literally free advice. Okay, but if you get the course, I would like you to actually put in your question in this community so that we can actually discuss together and help each other out. Because if you're competing by yourself, don't have any other friend to compete with you, it's very stressful. Competition is very stressful. So please do join the Star Station and let us know if you're competing at the moment, what competition you're preparing, what category you're preparing. If you don't mind sharing um, that your videos and stuff, please do. Like share your Instagram so we can follow each other, so we can look at your progress and stuff like that. Okay. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I will hopefully be able to edit that whole thing and then post it on YouTube. Also, follow me on YouTube so you can get more of this kind of content. But yeah, if you like this, ooh, Corinne, it's the link is not working. But yeah, if you like this, please let me know. If you have any questions right now, I'll give you one question. Put it down right now as we go through this. If you have any questions about anything I have mentioned before, do it right now. I'll answer you. I have a few more minutes. I hope I didn't give you too much like information that you're like, what the fuck is he yapping about? Where does showgirl style go in this spectrum? Is it completely different? No, showgirls is definitely on the spectrum. Showgirls will probably be old school, in between old school and hardstyle. Yeah, because showgirl do have this like hardstyle moment, like they do a drop split. Oh, I love a drop split. Just thinking about that. Yeah, handstand drop split, all the kind of stuff. Like those are a little bit more like acrobatic and stuff like that. I don't. I feel like it's definitely on the spectrum towards like hardstyle and old school. It's not flow, but there's also old school flow. So yeah, but showgirls is definitely focused, yeah, more on that. It depends on what kind of show you're doing. But from my experience, most of the Miss Pole Dance Australia routine are definitely showgirl, and they will fall between those two. And that's why when the hard style name came up, they call it the Olga Koda style or the Aussie showgirl style. Yeah, no worries. If you don't see the style, the showgirl style, in the competitions, don't feel frustrated and don't feel like you can't enter. I would still encourage you to enter. Um, and I think that there are definitely more and more showgirl style competition coming up. So yeah, do follow, check them out. For competition that they don't have specific category and just levels, exotic, beginner, advanced, what style is safe to assume to yeah, this is the thing. Like these competition, they just have no clue. I feel like it's really I feel bad for people having to guess to do that because it doesn't make sense. If you want someone to compete in this style, you gotta give them a guideline, yeah? But if they don't have a specific category and they just call it EXO, I feel like you can go anywhere. Yeah, you just have to be in heels because I assume that's the bare minimum criteria that they have. It's like you gotta be in heels and moving sexy. That's probably the criteria they will have because in Exalt Gen franchise, the men category is the most confusing category ever. Okay, I don't know why they still don't let men compete with women. I know, sorry, a lot of people are gonna say like, because men have more strength than like that. Yes, but women's also more detailed orientated. Like they move completely different to men. Like I feel like have no chances competing with women. But I do compete with a lot of girls in Australia. But yeah, when they don't have like specific criteria for that, I feel like it's just hard. Because I did my very first exotic generation in Australia, the year like literally a month before COVID happened. I did in the men category. I was doing like a old, probably more, I would say more old school. But one of the judge told me I wasn't flowy enough. And I'm like, okay. Because that was the year that Russian exotic, the Russian float become big. So I feel like that was how the name XO tied to. It was just that Russian exotic. Yeah. So yeah, I was like automatically like, you're not exotic enough. So I'm like, bitch, I'm Asian. No, I'm joking. But yeah, so now like I'm very happy that we have hairstyle, so I can literally just automatically go there. But for men category, like can someone just fix that? Anyway, okay, I hope that answer. I'm year what? Theater category, theater category. That's another like specialty category. Theater category, comedy. What else do they have? Jewel, these category, I do actually explain them in the course as well. A quick, just like quick feedback, quick response to that is you can do anything. Like you can be any styles to do theater. But remember, it's called theater for a reason. So you gotta focus on that. Okay? When you're into pole dance, oh my God, even give me the date. I'm still too early to think about my style. I know you suggested I talk to my instructor, but I do I straight up ask them, hey, what do you think of the way I dance? Okay. I feel like it's definitely a good idea to ask and also like listen to yourself. Like, what do you feel best doing? Yeah. It's you don't actually need like a lot of feedback when you are still like learning because you are going definitely going to change. Definitely going to change. Like I did. Like I was like, I'm post sport, but 2 years in, I got my first pair of heels. I'm like, I'm moving towards that. But then I still like, no, but I'm also post. Anyway, that's my ADHD. Yeah. But go experience all the styles. Go look at the instructor that you have in your city. I like to say that because certain studio will only have certain styles. So definitely go look around and see different instructors, different studio, and go and like break down. Use all the tips I gave you, and then like go look at their choreography. Like, are they more this style? Are they more this style? And then you can pick and choose and go try them out. If it feels good to you, if you feel authentic doing it, that's your style. Okay. You're very welcome. We often hear about a story of judges being subjected, communicating different school from judges, how to overcome and this or purely based on luck. Okay, judging is subjective. That's the thing. Like I can't argue that. Like that's why we have many judges. Yeah. I fight with judges a lot. Usually, I just raise my voice. No, I'm joking. I'm actually giving like a lot of good like reason why this person should blah 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 blah. Okay, like that's why we have judges from different background. Because at the end of the day, it's a competition. Yeah, you think it's fair, might not be fair for the judges, and unfortunately, it's judges' decision. It's not the competitive decision, and that is the reality of a competition. So I feel like to overcome that, you need to understand it's a competition. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a competition. You're here to be judged. So you just gotta accept whatever it is. Unfortunately, sometimes the judges can give you a good feedback, and either you are going to understand why the decision was made or you don't. Um, I'm not suggesting anything. You can go ask the judge. You can, ask the instructor that who coaches you. But yeah, a lot of time, like your friend, your instructor are going to be biased because they're your friend or they work with you. But the judges are, just think about them as audience. Okay, do not let that destroy you or feel like they don't like you because the actual people you need to impress is the audience. The judges are not the one you need to impress. Okay, your paying customer or the audience, not the judges. Like that's something I like to talk to. I like to say to my students, like you don't perform for the judges, you perform for the audience. The audience are your paying customer, not the judges. Yes, you might win a title, but it's just like the audience are going to remember your performance more than your title. Okay, that is something people need to get over. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that if you have no oh well, one more question. Okay, one more question. Scarlett, is it my Scarlett from Adelaide? Yes, it's you. Oh my God, hello. Girl, you know everything that you're doing. Okay, so Scarlett's an amazing pole dancer from Adelaide, so make sure you go check her out. Ballerina. I used to dance barefoot, then decided to be more hardstyle. Now I do more flow style with a moment of other style season half floor, my style to roll. It is still evolving 11 years into pole, but would you say I need to drop the seasoning if I was to enter a competition like EXO-Gen, or is it okay to have moments of other styles if the music calls for it, as long as overall you are matching the category? Oh, yes. Again, I feel like I have a lot of like more international students here than just Australian now. Like Australian pole dancer, I feel like we are still a little bit in our own world rather than the EXO world. Yeah, the EXO gen, they are very Russian styles. And now, like, I don't know, I think like Asian people are just so obsessed with like EXO nowadays. Like the style you see at EXO Gen Asia and like, like Hong Kong. No, they don't have EXO Gen Hong Kong. EXO Gen Bali, all these like different countries in Asia, the styles are become very distinct. They're very different from old school. They are not old school anymore, unless they're in the old school category. But yeah, they have developed into their own thing now. But if you're in Australia, I feel like there's still a lot of like misunderstanding about like showgirl style being like, you don't know where to go, basically. Like you don't know where to enter flow or old school. And I feel like this is what Scarlett is like saying here. But yeah, I feel like if you are entering EXO-Gen, you definitely check on their criteria. If you're doing flow, you gotta go flowy because I wouldn't risk any chances of doing anything a little bit too hard because I feel like every judges have the understanding now. Exalt flow needs to be like flowy, needs to be continuous. But if you throw in like a little bit more of a hard style, like kip or whatever, people are like, that's not flow. Unfortunately, I do want to advocate for like hard style flow people, but I usually would just go lean into hard style because if you're gonna go do that style, if that feels better for you, then just lean into it. Definitely for that. Um, yeah, don't take chances, especially if you're gonna travel for somewhere. Okay. Anyway, I hope that it helps. If you guys need like one-on-one coaching, I do offer. It's called the Start to Icon, which is a personalized coaching program that I do with my students. It's a commitment because not only it's 8 weeks. Oh, I have 5 weeks and 8 weeks. Usually you need to, if you need to come prep, you need at least 8 weeks. Okay. Please do not say, I have a competition next month. I need a choreograph. I'm like, I usually won't say anything. I'll just, oh my God, good luck. Yeah, literally. You need 8 weeks. So yeah, if you need one-on-one, Starter Icon is the place to go. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. If this helped, please type one. I only want to see that. If it doesn't help, I assume you will have left early. I want to just say thank you to everyone who was here and also Corinne. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, 111. Make sure you join the Starter Icon. If you have more questions, ask me there. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to just, I won't be able to see your questions. Okay. Anyway, I will see you guys very soon. Okay. Bye bye.